with a horrible scream of tortured metal gives a little, and a small trickle of steam issues forth. The rat sounds are growing louder, but you still can't see any rats. Wait until the red horse enters your area. Okay. You still can't see any rats. A troop of rats appears out of the darkness. The rats are momentarily startled by your presence, but soon the bolder ones begin to approach. There are more rats here than you have ever seen. Turn wolf. The valve screeches open. A jet spray of live steam issues from it, filling the tunnel in front of you. The rats are caught in the full force of the blast. Horrible squeals can be heard from the midst of the steam cloud, and scalded watch charts past you, all interest in anything but flight forgotten. One of their numbers remains dead. Aww, poor ratsies. Says often turn balls. I don't want to get I don't want to get caught into this wet thing, in this wolf thing. Then go west 4 times and down to reach a large chamber. West. This dark and grimy tunnel is largely filled with imperfect insulated steam pipe. The tunnel is uncomfortably hot and damp. You have gone from the Arctic to the tropics. The concrete tunnel has odd molds and fungi growing on its walls and ceiling, and the floor is squishy. Torn cloths of insulation litter the floor. Along the ceiling runs a thick tangle of coaxial cable. The tunnel heads east and west. A rusty metal ladder leads up. 2. This tunnel is ceiling festooned with damp molds and cobwebs. 3. The tunnel continues the steam from the ceiling at this point. Temperatures drop considerably as well. West. Muddy tunnel. The tunnel you came through continues down, barely large enough to enter. It is made of sticky, gelatinous mud that's been pushed by something resembling a passage. Pushed by something? I need to enter a large chamber, so can't go that way. Oh, down. Okay. This is a white spot in the tunnel, just as red and muddy as elsewhere. The walls are slimy as well. Numerous slots or indentations about 2 feet wide and a foot high open here and there. Thin wire or rope-like growths emerge from a hole further down and enter each of the slots. There is background noise here, almost loud enough to hear clearly. A small furtive motion attracts attention to the slots. Safe. Strange sounds. Okay. Cut wire with cutter. You strain and push the 2 handles of the bolt cutter together with all your strength. At first it looks like nothing will happen, but then, with a loud click, the jaws cut the wire. The wire, as though under tension, rapidly begins to curl up, disappearing down the tunnel and away. Urchins burst forth from the slots. The effect on the urchins is electric, perhaps literally. They twitch, jerk spasmodically, and fall to the ground, almost in unison. They have lost all interest in you. What are persons? Urchins. Wait, the urchin. Urchin was this kid, or? I'm confused. Where are the urchins coming from and how? Did I just electrify little kids? That's nothing nice to do. You don't do this. Yeah, oh well. Go down to enter the red tunnel maze. A few of the urchins grab feebly at you as you pass, but none is a serious barrier. You are lost in narrow red tunnels burrowed through the mud. Muddy, oily water covers the floor. Okay, go north. Red tunnel down. South twice. And down to reach the final maze room. Open a metal flask and pour its liquid in a slimy curtain to get rid of it. Wait. Go down to enter the north. I did. Down. South twice. And down to reach the final maze room. Here. Look curtain. Look at curtain. Oh, okay. The entire south wall is covered with a curtain of moldy fluorescent slime. There's something about the slime that makes it appear unhealthy, as though the influences here are bad for anything living. Okay. Open metal flask. You open the flask and a cold white mist boils out. Pour liquid on curtains. The liquid splashes onto the curtain and cold mist fills the room. The slime begins to freeze. Nearly the entire curtain solidifies, shatters and drops to the ground, revealing an ancient wooden door. Unlocked door with the master key. This is kind of strange. Doors are unlocked, the mist dissipates. Why could I open everything here with one key? Sure, it is a master key, but come on. This is an ancient door. I'm pretty sure he didn't make the master key to fit everything. Or is it some kind of skeleton key? I'm not sure about keys, but I'm pretty sure you can't make a key for everything. That doesn't make sense. Save. Key. Strange. Open the door. And go south to enter the... okay? Enter the lair of the lurking horror. In a lair. The floor here is a stagnant, slime-infested pool of water. It feels to be about 6 inches deep. Ropes or wires tumble down the slope, where they enter a large, whitish mass, which takes up much of the chamber. The noise is loud here, oh yes it is, and it comes from the mass, which undulates in synchrony with the noise. Then, sourceless light illuminates the chamber. Set on the wall, incongruous in its surroundings, is a metal box. On one side of a coaxial cable enters the box. On the other, a cable-like appendage leads from the box to the mass. There's a metal cover on the box. Suddenly the hand leaps from his shoulder into the slime-encrusted puddle. It dives beneath the water. Reach into puddle. You wood around lightly into the gooey, slimy water. You feel something thick and slippery. A tentacle? No, it's cold and dead. It seems to be a line of some kind, just below the surface. You hear noises outside the door. Get line. Oh. You pull a length of the line out of the water. It's like holding a large, heavy snake. You hear a stumbling noise behind you, turn and see the hacker staggering into the cavern. The hacker stares at you, shocked. It's you! When I gave you my key, I never suspected you would get this far. Okay, seriously, I wasn't expecting the hacker to be the mastermind of everything. I didn't read the walkthrough, so it's not even saying something about the hacker. But, what the fuck? Okay, it's the hacker. Huh. Cut the line with the X. Cut line with X. You strike the line with the X, making a deep gash in insulation. The hacker stares at the thing in the cave. I got very suspicious about your problems, Mr. Net. I began to trace some corks, found some repeaters and bridges that weren't on the layout charts, and started following them. Anyway, here I am. That thing there, whatever it is, and those wires, interface to the whole campus net, and that means it's tied into all the nets, commercial, government, even military, potentially. Cut line with X. The blow cuts through more insulation into the conductors. I guess I better do something. It could be a serious compromise of system integrity if this thing isn't dealt with. He peers at the mass as he's evaluating it. He then reaches in the pocket and pulls out a small pair of wire strippers. Cut line with X. The line parts. The two ends begin to sink towards the water as they straighten out. The hacker advances on the mast, apparently planning to cut some of the wires leading into it. As he approaches it, the sound stops completely. It does? Yeah. And the wires begin a frantic, looping, twining dance. The mast begins to flow towards the hacker almost as quickly as he walks towards it. They reach each other and begin to merge together. He screams a long, ululating cry that echoes through the cavern. Then he is engulfed. Idiot. Get line. You carefully grab the line just as it's about to drop into the water. The mass is bulging, vibrating and wobbling. Also, he wasn't a mad evil mastermind. He just had a master key that led to the door. Okay, fine. Open the metal box. Open metal box. You remove the cover, revealing a plethora of electronic innards. Most prominent area are socket into which a secure car cable is plugged, and a connector into which the glistering cable-like appendage disappears. This connector cable. You unscrew the cable. It now hangs unconnected inside the box. The mass is bulging, vibrating and wobbling. A tear is forming near where the hacker was absorbed. What? Hacker? Let's wait, I want to see what happens. The hacker pulls himself over the slide of the mass. As he does, you think you can see many pairs of eyes appear briefly in the semi-transparent mass, watching curiously. Wires and tentacles trail from his body, and tiny, almost rat-like creatures cling to his body everywhere, crawling about like ants. He walks slowly, jerkily towards you. We won, he says, haltingly but fervently. Sheesh, it is a very annoying sound. Attach power line to socket. The shock exposes conductors into the socket, producing a shower of sparks. The tentacle connected to the other socket begins to jerk and twitch spasmodically. The mass it's connected to quivers and a horrible noise, almost like a huge machine running without oil issues from the sink. The hacker screams soundlessly and drops into the water. The mass begins to... How can you scream soundlessly? The mass begins to change shape, compacting, darkening. You can briefly see human outlines within the grey, gelatinous mass. They surround something large of a shape not human, not animal, like nothing you've seen before. The gelatinous mass solidifies and compacts, leaving behind a litter of smoking debris. In the debris squats a being, huge, misshapen. It stares at you with baleful yellow eyes. Its scaly wings speed slowly, driving a fetid stench through the stale air of the cavern. A barbed tongue slides across its broken, dagger-like fangs. The smooth stone vibrates. It starts to feel warm. Ugh. Wait for time. The thing tenses, preparing to leap. Its mouth opens, revealing not the glistenous interior but a dead black outline, like a hole with nothingness. The smooth stone is glowing with a bright red heat that nevertheless fails to burn you. Throw stone at thing. The stone smashes into the creature, sticking to its enormous height. The thing thrashes about, trying to bite at the stone, which is glowing brighter and brighter. Small hands issue from beneath its scales to tug and wail at the irritant. The creature begins to show gaping holes of dark, light devouring nothingness around the stone. Its wings spread painfully as though it were trying to fly away, and then fold. It widens its jaw in an almost human scream of agony. The black hole of its narrow overwhelms that indeed the creature appears to be swallowing itself. At last, a great cloud of greasy smoke surrounds the glowing stone, still suspended in midair. Then even that vanishes and its stone drops to the ground, no longer glowing. The thing is gone. That stone. You pick up the stone. Okay? You pick up the stone. It has a long jagged crack that almost breaks it in half. As you pick it up, you feel it bump to one side. Then, as you are holding it in your hand, something pushes its way through the crack, breaking the stone in two pieces.